Deep beneath the ocean's surface, in the vast and shadowy expanse of the deep sea, there's a sound that has puzzled scientists for decades. It's faint, eerie, and often described as a whistle, a sound that seems almost alive, yet no one truly knows its origin. It's a sound that rises up from the darkness, echoing through layers of water, bouncing off underwater mountain ranges and slipping between the cracks of tectonic plates. But what could possibly be whistling at the bottom of the sea? The mystery began in 1997 when the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, captured an unusual sound through their underwater microphones, also known as hydrophones. These devices, originally designed during the Cold War to monitor submarine activity, had since been repurposed to study the sounds of the natural world. And it was during one of their routine recordings that a peculiar noise was detected, a high-pitched, melodic whistle. It came from a remote region of the Pacific Ocean, a place so deep and so vast that it remains mostly unexplored to this day. Scientists called it the whistle sound, and it wasn't just a random blip on the recordings. It repeated itself, sometimes for seconds, sometimes for minutes. The same pattern, the same haunting hum, always coming from the same general area of the ocean floor. Some described it as mechanical, like the hollow cry of an underwater flute. Others thought it sounded organic, like the distant, ghostly call of an unknown creature. The sound caught the attention of marine biologists, physicists, and even conspiracy theorists. Each group brought its own theories, each one more fascinating than the last. Some experts believed the sound must have biological roots. After all, the ocean is full of strange creatures that communicate in ways we barely understand. Could the whistle belong to a previously undiscovered marine species? A creature perhaps hidden at the bottom of the ocean's trenches, deeper than any submersible had ever ventured? Others turned away from biology and turned instead to the Earth itself. The deep sea is anything but static. It's a place where the Earth is alive, its tectonic plates grinding against each other and creating pressure so intense that it can move mountains. Sometimes shifting rocks can emit frequencies of sound far below the range of human hearing. But maybe, they thought, just maybe, the whistle marks an unnatural bit of movement. Could a volcanic vent or a sudden release of underwater gas really whistle like that? But here's where things get even weirder. The whistle doesn't behave quite like other oceanic sounds we've studied. It doesn't match the chaotic randomness of seafloor activity, nor does it seem quite like the deliberate patterns of biological songs. In one experiment, when they tried pinpointing the exact location of the noise, they found it wasn't coming from a single spot, but instead seemed to wander across miles of seafloor as if the source itself were in motion. Stranger still, the sounds seemed to be louder in certain seasons, which only added to the mystery. By the early 2000s, researchers began referring to it as one of the unexplained ocean sounds. The whistle joined the ranks of similar phenomena, like the infamous bloop that had been detected in 1997 and was later traced to ice shifting beneath the Antarctic. Yet, while the bloop had eventually found an explanation, the whistle remained stubbornly elusive. Of course, where science hesitates, speculation thrives, and the whistle quickly became fodder for wild theories. One popular idea from the conspiracy community tied the whistle to stories of underwater UFOs, or rather, USOs, unidentified submersible objects. The idea of secretive, advanced, possibly alien technology hiding within the ocean's deepest trenches has long fascinated people. Could it be the sound of some kind of advanced underwater propulsion system? A signal or a form of communication between unknown vessels? Another, slightly less dramatic theory involves ancient maritime myths. For centuries, sailors spoke of sea spirits, beings that lived in the depths and could produce haunting songs to lure people to their doom. The mermaids, the sirens of legend. Could these myths have originated from strange underwater sounds like the whistle? And might this whistle be a modern continuation of the stories of unexplainable noises at sea? As tantalizing as these ideas sound, the scientific community remained focused on more practical explanations. Still, their efforts to understand the whistle ran into one major hurdle: the deep ocean itself. You see, exploring the seafloor is nothing like exploring the surface of the planet. At those depths, sunlight cannot reach. The weight of the water is so immense, it can crush submarines like tin cans. And perhaps most frustrating of all, the seafloor is so vast and so difficult to scan that we've mapped more of Mars than we have of Earth's oceans. That's not an exaggeration. Over 80% of the ocean floor remains unexplored, its topography still unknown, which means if the whistle sound has a physical source, whether geological or biological, we simply haven't found it yet. But that wasn't the end of the story. In 2016, new hydrophone technology revealed something curious. The whistle had a strangely repetitive frequency signature. It resembled signals produced by sonar, a system used by submarines and vessels to navigate underwater. This led some skeptics to propose what is perhaps the simplest explanation yet. Perhaps we're just hearing echoes of human-made activity, sonar bouncing off underwater canyons and trenches to produce strange acoustic illusions. But not everyone is convinced. If the whistle were merely sonar, why would it shift locations? Why would its volume rise and fall with the seasons? These aren't questions sonar could easily answer. These aren't questions sonar could easily answer. In the end, the whistle sound remains one of the many mysteries locked in the abyss of the ocean. Its source, its purpose, its meaning, all are still up for debate. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes it so fascinating. In a world where satellites capture every square inch of Earth's surface, and where most mysteries seem to shrink under the weight of our scientific understanding, the whistle reminds us that there are still places where we don't have all the answers. Places where the unknown still lingers, whispering or whistling to us from the darkness. So what's your theory? An undiscovered marine creature with a strange song, the grinding of the earth itself, or perhaps something we haven't even imagined yet? Whatever the answer, the whistle invites us to listen closer, to dive deeper, and to keep asking questions, even when we're treading in the dark. Because in the depths of the ocean, the more we learn, the more mysterious it seems to become.